Hey folks, we are back in the 2025 Host Yukon for an additional upgrade. Today is shower valve replacement day. Out with the old, in with the new. As you can see, I've already replaced, or not replaced, but I've removed the old shower valve. That's the back of the shower there. We've got our hot and cold water lines here. Host did us a favor since 2017, and I don't know when they started, but they made this top panel of the cabinet easily removable by attaching it with cabinet door catches. So thank you, Host. It's making this job far easier to get back there. Why am I replacing the shower valve? It hasn't failed. The reason I'm replacing it is twofold. One is that it will fail at some point. It's about the cheapest plastic valve you can buy. The main reason, though, I'm replacing it is because it is just awful at mixing hot and cold water. It really doesn't mix hot and cold water. In fact, you take a shower, the water's hot, then cold, then hot, then cold, and it just oscillates between that. So it makes for a pretty uncomfortable shower. The other reason I'm replacing it is preemptive, because these shower fixtures tend to fail, most notably right here. So this is where the hose attaches for the shower head. It's on the top of the fixture. The problem is that the hose hangs down, it comes up and then threads into the top of this fixture, and it puts constant lateral pressure one way or the other, whichever side the hose is hanging on this cheap plastic fitting. Well, eventually these crack off and break, and then you've got a junk shower valve that you need to replace anyway. So we're doing some proactive replacement here, mostly for a more comfortable shower, but also knowing that this valve will probably fail after not too long. So I found, after doing a little bit of research and Googling and reading reviews, that this Mismin thermostatic shower valve got pretty good reviews. It's a Chinese product, like 80% of the stuff out there these days. But I wanted to show you a little bit about the valve and kind of give you my thoughts on it before I install it. And I will preface this by saying I bought this valve myself. I'm not getting any kickbacks or anything like that. If you a cursory look through my channel, and number of subscribers and number of views will tell you very quickly that no one is paying me or giving me stuff to review. It wouldn't be much of a payback for them if they did. But I did some assembly already on this valve. It comes with a couple of brass adapters here that thread into these fittings on the shower valve. There is a rubber washer that goes in, and then you thread this fitting in and tighten down this nut. The shower valve is all metal. It's like all chrome plated brass, and obviously raw brass here too. The fit and finish is really good. The fitting for the hose for the shower head comes off of the bottom, which is a better design. It's also all metal, so it's not likely to break unless you do something really stupid. But I want to show you something just kind of interesting, and the attention to detail is pretty impressive. So it comes with these discussions, which are going to fit against the shower wall. But these discussions have built-in gaskets on them, or washers, to seal against the shower walls to prevent water from traveling, behind the escutcheon. But even more than that, they've also machined a groove into, and I don't know if you can see it, into this escutcheon, and they've fitted an O-ring in there, which engages this flat spot on this brass adapter going into the valve. So it's preventing water that might fall, here in this gap, and traveling through the threaded adapter into the inside of the wall. It's preventing that from happening by sealing that off with that little O-ring in there. Pretty slick. A nice design. Also, they've got washers and brass nuts that will secure it to the wall. So of course this is going to go inside, and the wall will be sandwiched between the nuts on the back side and the escutcheon and the valve on the outside. So I'm going to install this animal. We're going to give it a good workout here this over the next few days. It's hot here. We're heading out in the camper for a few days, so we'll be taking a number of showers. I'll have an opportunity to see how well it works. I'm excited for a more comfortable shower. So are there any drawbacks to this? I can only tell one so far, and again, I haven't used it, and that's winterizing. This valve is set up in such a way that you can blow it out with air. So winterizing for me has always been in all of the campers we've had, just blowing the system out with compressed air. I don't really like to run RV antifreeze through the system, which was fine with this. It worked fine, and it's worked fine on every other fixture we've had in any camper. But this thermostatic valve, there's no way to fully get all the water out of here. So I have two options: either run RV antifreeze through the system and winterize it that way, or completely disassemble this cartridge so that it can dry out and we can't have any freezing issues. I don't know which I'm going to do. I've got a while to think about it because it's June, or actually it's July 1st. So we'll see. But that's the only real drawback I can see to that, but I think that's a small price to pay for a more comfortable shower and a better quality valve that doesn't have a chance of failing on you, or as good of a chance of failing on you at the wrong time. So anyhow, I hope this was informational. If you have any questions, let me know. Take it easy. So we just returned from our trip out of town for a few days. So my wife and I each have 3 showers apiece under our belt with this new shower valve. And we both agree that it is a resounding improvement over the OEM shower valve that was in here. The big issue we had with that valve was the hot and cold. Intermittent, just uneven temperature. This provided exactly the same temperature water throughout the shower, no matter what you have it set at. So we were super pleased with how it performed. Yes, I'm aware we've got brushed nickel shower head and hose and a chrome faucet, but I don't really care. One other thing to note is the design of the handle is going to prevent anything that falls off the shelf from inadvertently turning that on. In our Mammoth, we had 2 individual handles on each side, and I actually did have a bar of soap fall down and turn that handle on, which is certainly not going to happen with this valve given its design. So that's pretty neat. I also will note that while my wife was in the shower, I absentmindedly turned on the kitchen faucet while I was doing some dishes, and I did not hear any squeals from the shower, which is good. So it didn't get hot or cold with that other faucet on. Now, she did note that the flow was reduced significantly in the shower while I was using the faucet in the kitchen, which is nothing to do with the valve. Obviously, that's the water pump and what it can provide. But anyhow, that's our first thoughts on it. Only had 6 showers total, but again, so far it's doing exactly what we were hoping it would do, and we're super happy with it. Take it easy.